Captain Robert Hayes pressed his face against the cold metal of the observation window, watching the giant machines tear apart another asteroid. The rocks turned into useful metals that would build more ships and stations. To anyone watching from outside, this looked like just another small human mining operation trying to make money in a forgotten corner of space. The truth was much bigger than that. "Sir, message coming in from the Davis colony," said Lieutenant Emma Clark, looking up from her communication station. Her fingers moved quickly over the glowing buttons. "Their third factory is working now. That makes 4 to 7 complete systems in just this area." Robert nodded but kept his face calm. Through the thick glass, he could see a beautiful alien ship floating past their simple station. The ship looked like it was made of crystal and light, much more advanced than anything humans had built. The Zorathai had ruled the galaxy's trade routes for thousands of years. Their technology was so far ahead of human machines that most people thought humans would always be second-class citizens in space. The Zorathai captain probably didn't even notice the human mining station. To them, humans were useful for the boring jobs nobody else wanted to do. Humans fixed broken ships, dug up metals from dead worlds, and carried cargo between the important alien civilizations. They were the galaxy's cleanup crew, nothing more. But the Zorathai were making a huge mistake. While they focused on controlling the rich, populated star systems that everyone wanted, humans had been quietly moving into places nobody else cared about. Dead planets with no air to breathe. Asteroid fields that were dangerous to fly through. Star systems so far from everything else that most aliens forgot they existed. Each human settlement started very small. Maybe just a few people with some mining equipment, or a research station studying something boring, or a place where ships could stop to refuel. The aliens who noticed these tiny outposts thought humans were just trying to survive on the scraps nobody else wanted. They were wrong. Commander William Turner's voice crackled through the secret communication system from the Harrison colony, 12 light-years away. The message traveled instantly through space using quantum technology that most aliens didn't know humans had developed. "Robert, we're ahead of schedule. We found 73 more systems perfect for new colonies. The best part is, none of the big alien governments even know these places exist." Robert smiled to himself. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't better weapons or faster ships. It was their willingness to live and work in places that other species thought were worthless. While alien civilizations stayed close to their ancient home planets and established trade routes, humans spread out like seeds carried by the wind, taking root wherever they landed. Dr. Margaret Foster walked over with her daily report. She was the station's chief engineer, responsible for keeping all their secret projects running smoothly. The automated shipyards hidden in the asteroid belt finished another group of cargo ships today. To anyone watching, we're just expanding our mining operation. They have no idea we're building the foundation for something much, much larger. Margaret was right. Every human settlement looked innocent from the outside. Mining stations, research facilities, trading posts, refueling depots. But inside each one, humans were building advanced factories, communication networks, and defensive systems. What looked like a simple mining operation was actually a fully equipped industrial center capable of building everything from medical supplies to warships. The aliens had made a fundamental mistake about human nature. They thought humans would be content to work for alien masters forever, grateful for whatever scraps they were given. They didn't understand that humans had never forgotten what it felt like to be free, to build their own civilization according to their own rules. Robert watched another human cargo ship dock with their station. The ship looked old and beat up, exactly the kind of vessel aliens expected humans to fly. But hidden inside its cargo holds were advanced manufacturing components being delivered to new colonies throughout this sector of space. Each delivery helped another human settlement grow from a simple outpost into a fully functional industrial center. The communication board lit up with more messages from human colonies across the galaxy. The Chen system had completed their defensive satellite network. The Wilson colony had begun mining operations on 12 different asteroids simultaneously. The Patterson Research Station had successfully tested a new type of faster-than-light engine that could outrun anything the aliens had. Each message was sent through humanity's secret quantum communication network, allowing instant contact between human settlements separated by hundreds or thousands of light-years. While alien civilizations relied on slow message ships that took weeks or months to carry information between star systems, humans could coordinate their activities across the entire galaxy in real time. Emma looked up from her station again, her face showing a mixture of excitement and concern. "Sir, we're getting reports from the frontier colonies. Some of them are detecting alien scout ships in nearby systems. The Zephyrian Confederation seems to be paying more attention to our expansion than usual. Robert felt his stomach tighten. For 200 years, humanity's growth had gone unnoticed because they had deliberately chosen systems that other species considered worthless or dangerous. But maybe their rapid expansion was finally attracting attention from the wrong people. The galaxy's major powers had grown comfortable thinking they knew humanity's place in the universe. Humans were servants, workers, and maintenance crews. They fixed things, carried cargo, and stayed out of the way while their betters shaped galactic politics and controlled interstellar commerce. But in those forgotten corners of space, while the aliens weren't paying attention, humanity had been building something incredible. An empire that spanned thousands of star systems, connected by instant communication and supported by the most advanced automated manufacturing network the galaxy had ever seen. Soon, the galaxy would discover the truth about what humans had accomplished. The question was whether the ancient alien powers would accept this new reality, or try to crush it before it could challenge their control. Robert turned away from the window and walked toward the command center. It was time to send a message through the quantum network to every human colony in the galaxy. The age of hiding was almost over. Admiral James Mitchell stood in the most secret room in human space, surrounded by walls covered with blinking lights and glowing screens. The central coordination hub was hidden deep inside what looked like an empty star system, but it was actually the brain that controlled humanity's greatest achievement. Thousands of messages flowed through the quantum communicators every second, connecting every human settlement in the galaxy like nerves in a giant body. "Give me the daily numbers," James said to his staff, his weathered face lit up by the colorful displays showing how much each human colony had built that day. Colonel Lisa Warren stepped forward with a thick folder full of intelligence reports about their alien neighbors. "Sir, the Ethereal Dominion just finished building their newest super battleship. It took them 12 years to complete and needed materials from 30 different star systems. Meanwhile, our automated factories produced 17 ships just as powerful last month alone." James shook his head in amazement. The difference was incredible, and it all came down to how humans thought about building a civilization. While alien powers built huge factories on a few important planets and used slow spaceships to carry messages between their colonies, humans had created something completely revolutionary. Chief Engineer David Roberts had invented the system 15 years earlier. He was a thin man with wild hair who spent most of his time thinking about problems nobody else understood. "The aliens think about planets and star systems as separate things," he had explained to the Colonial Council. "We need to think about networks. Every human outpost should be able to make anything we need, anywhere we need it, as fast as possible." The results were better than anyone had dared to hope. Dr. Rachel Edwards sat at her monitoring station, watching numbers that represented the industrial output of human civilization. "Sir, we now have fully working factory complexes in over 2,000 star systems. Each one can produce everything from medicine to battleship engines. The copying systems are working perfectly." What made the whole network truly amazing was how quickly it could change to meet new needs. When the Anderson colony needed more defensive platforms to protect against asteroid impacts, they sent a request through the neural web. Within hours, 17 different human settlements began making the parts needed. The platforms were put together in space and working within days. Other civilizations would need months or years to accomplish the same thing. Lieutenant Commander Paul Baker had just returned from a spy mission to Zorathai space, where he had posed as a simple cargo ship mechanic. He couldn't believe what he had seen. "Sir, they're still using the same giant factories they built 500 years ago. Everything has to be shipped through their old trade routes. Even if they wanted to build more military ships quickly, their whole system is too slow and rigid to change." James found this both funny and sad. The galaxy's most powerful civilizations were proud of their ancient technology and traditional ways of doing things, but those same traditions had made them weak. Their governments were full of bureaucrats who took forever to make decisions. Their factories were huge but inflexible, unable to adapt to new situations quickly. Humanity was different. Humans were seen as young and primitive by the older alien species, but they had built something far more flexible and powerful than anything their neighbors possessed. Each human colony was like a single cell in a vast organism, able to function independently but also work together with perfect coordination. Communications Officer Helen Clark suddenly looked up from her station with concern on her face. "Admiral, we're getting priority alerts from our frontier settlements. The Jackson colony reports that Zephyrian scout ships have been flying around their outer planets for the past week. They seem very curious about why we're expanding so fast." James felt a cold chill run down his spine. For 2 centuries, humanity's growth had been invisible because they had carefully chosen star systems that other species thought were worthless. Dangerous asteroid fields, planets with poisonous atmospheres, systems too far from major trade routes to be profitable. But perhaps their rapid expansion was finally drawing unwanted attention. The beauty of humanity's approach was that it looked completely harmless from the outside. When aliens saw a human mining station, they saw exactly what they expected to see. Simple people doing simple work in places nobody else wanted to go. They never realized that each simple outpost was actually a sophisticated industrial center connected to thousands of others just like it. Dr. Margaret Foster had designed many of the hidden systems that made this deception possible. The key is making everything look like a natural expansion of basic operations, she had explained. When we build a new factory, we disguise it as expanded mining equipment. When we install defensive weapons, they look like asteroid deflection systems. The aliens see what they expect to see. But now it seemed like some aliens were starting to look more carefully at what humans were actually doing. The Zephyrians were known for being suspicious and paranoid about other species' activities. If they had decided to investigate human expansion more thoroughly, it could lead to serious problems. James looked around the command center at his staff. These men and women represented the best of humanity's military and scientific leadership. They had spent decades building this incredible network in secret, always knowing that someday they might have to defend it. Send word through the quantum network to every human settlement, he ordered, his voice firm and clear. Begin Phase 2 protocols immediately. It's time to show the galaxy what we've really accomplished out here. Within minutes, his orders reached human colonies thousands of light-years away. In star systems across the galaxy, mining stations began revealing hidden weapon systems. Research facilities activated military manufacturing protocols. Trading posts deployed defensive shields that had been disguised as communication arrays. The galaxy was about to discover that humanity had built the most advanced civilization in known space while everyone else was looking the other way. The Zephyrian War fleet dropped out of hyperspace like angry wasps, expecting to find a helpless human mining colony they could easily conquer. Instead, Fleet Commander Daniel Cooper watched from the bridge of his ship as 12 heavy alien warships suddenly faced something they had never seen before, a fully armed human star system ready for battle. "Sir, the aliens are sending us a message," reported communications specialist Sarah Phillips, trying to keep her voice steady even though they were badly outnumbered. "The Zephyrian commander says we have to surrender the Miller colony right now and accept their government's authority over us." Daniel studied the glowing tactical display in front of him. The screen showed dozens of defense platforms surrounding the system's 3 planets, while squadrons of human patrol ships moved in perfect formation between the worlds. What the Zephyrians didn't know was that this wasn't just one system defending itself. This was a tiny part of humanity's vast military network, and reinforcements could arrive from anywhere in human space within hours. "Connect me to Admiral Mitchell at Central Command," Daniel ordered. The quantum communication system linked him instantly to the secret headquarters 800 light-years away, as if he was talking to someone in the next room. "Admiral, we have a serious problem. The Zephyrians are here with a battle fleet, demanding we give up our colony and submit to their rule." James Mitchell's voice came through the speakers clearly despite the enormous distance. "Understood, Commander. You have my permission to show them the full extent of our defensive capabilities. Let them see exactly what they are challenging when they threaten human territory." Captain Jennifer Hayes commanded the orbital defense platforms that surrounded the Miller colony's main planet. Through her headset, she received orders from the quantum network. "All defensive positions, power up your primary weapon systems. Show these aliens what the Miller colony has been building for the past 50 years. The Zephyrians watched in growing alarm as space around them began lighting up with energy signatures from dozens of hidden weapons. What they had thought were simple mining platforms revealed themselves as military installations armed with weapons more advanced than anything in the Zephyrian fleet. The humans hadn't just been mining asteroids for 50 years. They had been building a fortress. Lieutenant Commander Michael Scott monitored the long-range sensors from his station deep inside the colony's command bunker. What he saw made his eyes widen in amazement. "Sir, I'm detecting massive fleet movements throughout all of human space. Every single human settlement is going to full military readiness at the same time." This was the revelation that would shock the galaxy. The neural web allowed humanity to coordinate military actions across thousands of light-years in real time. While other civilizations needed weeks to gather their scattered forces for battle, humanity's entire civilization could shift from peaceful mining and trading to total war readiness in just a few hours. Major Patricia Brown coordinated the system's defenses from her underground command center. She couldn't hide her satisfaction as she watched the Zephyrian formation begin to break apart in confusion. "Sir, their fleet commander is frantically calling for immediate reinforcements. I don't think they expected to find a fully integrated defense network when they came here to bully a simple human mining colony." The truth was spreading through galactic intelligence networks faster than the Zephyrians could retreat to safety. Spy satellites and reconnaissance ships belonging to every major alien power were detecting the same impossible reality. Humanity hadn't just built scattered colonies in worthless star systems. They had built the largest unified civilization in the history of the galaxy. Admiral Catherine Wilson commanded the response fleets that were already moving toward Zephyrian space from dozens of different human systems. She opened a communication channel to the retreating alien ships. "This is Admiral Wilson of the Human Colonial Defense Force. You have entered sovereign human territory without permission and made threats against our citizens. Withdraw immediately, or face the full consequences of your actions." The Zephyrian commander's panicked response was intercepted and transmitted across the galaxy within hours by intelligence services belonging to every major power. "Emergency alert to all Zephyrian forces. The humans are not scattered mining colonies. They are a unified empire with military coordination we've never seen before. We've been watching the wrong civilizations for centuries while they built this right under our noses." As the alien fleet jumped to hyperspace in full retreat, Daniel Cooper realized that humanity's age of hiding in the shadows was finally over. The galaxy now knew the truth about what humans had accomplished in those forgotten corners of space. While the ancient alien powers had grown comfortable and lazy in their established territories, humanity had quietly built something unprecedented. Intelligence reports were already flowing to the capitals of every major alien civilization. The ethereal dominion's ancient crystal palaces buzzed with emergency sessions as their leaders tried to understand how they had missed humanity's expansion. The Zorathai trade lords examined shipping records and realized that human cargo vessels had been building industrial infrastructure for 2 centuries. The Crystalline Hegemony's war councils studied tactical data and discovered that humanity possessed military technology they had never seen before. Dr. Lisa Edwards monitored alien communications from her intelligence station in the Roberts system. "Admiral, we're intercepting emergency transmissions from across alien space. The ethereal dominion is calling emergency sessions with all their client species. The Zorathai are reviewing 2 centuries of trade data. Everyone is trying to figure out how we became so powerful without them noticing." The question that every alien leader was asking their advisors was the same: how had a species they considered useful but harmless managed to build an empire that dwarfed their own ancient civilizations? And more importantly, what were they going to do about it? Daniel Cooper knew the answer would determine whether humanity's emergence would be accepted peacefully, or whether the old powers would try to crush this new threat before it could challenge their control of the galaxy. The age of human servitude was over. The question now was whether it would be replaced by equality or war. The ethereal assembly hall was the most beautiful and terrifying place in the known galaxy. Ambassador Thomas Reed stood alone in the center of the vast crystal chamber, representing all of humanity before the beings who had ruled space for 10,000 years. Above him, the ethereals floated like glowing ghosts, their bodies made of pure light that hurt to look at directly. Around the edges of the great hall, dozens of alien species whispered nervously to each other about this unprecedented meeting. "Human representative," spoke High Arbiter Veltar, the most powerful ethereal in the galaxy. His voice echoed through the crystal walls like thunder. "Your species has broken the sacred laws that have kept peace in this galaxy for millennia. You have built colonies and systems without asking permission. You have created military forces without reporting to proper authorities. You will immediately give up 70% of your territory and submit to our oversight, or face complete destruction." Thomas had known this moment would come. Through the neural web, he could feel the presence of every human colony across the galaxy, all watching this conversation that would determine their future. Similar meetings were happening simultaneously on dozens of other alien worlds, as every major power in the galaxy demanded humanity's submission. "High Arbiter," Thomas replied, keeping his voice calm and respectful but firm. "Humanity has broken no treaties because we were never asked to sign your galactic accords. We built our settlements in star systems that no other species wanted or claimed. We developed our technology through our own hard work. We have attacked no one and threatened no existing civilization. We seek friendship with all peaceful species, but we will never accept foreign rulers telling us how to live." The crystal chamber erupted in alien voices as representatives from dozens of species reacted with shock and anger to humanity's refusal to submit. Many of these aliens had ruled parts of the galaxy for thousands of years, and they had never encountered a species that dared to reject their authority so directly. Admiral Charles Burton monitored the tense meeting from the human embassy ship orbiting the ethereal homeworld. Through his earpiece, he received constant updates from deep space sensors throughout human territory. Ambassador, our detection systems are showing massive military movements across ethereal space. They're gathering their enforcement fleets from every corner of their empire. Back on the secret military command world, General Rebecca Foster was coordinating humanity's response to threats coming from dozens of different alien civilizations. She addressed the Colonial Assembly through the quantum network that connected every human settlement. Fellow humans, the moment we always knew would arrive has finally come. The old powers of this galaxy refuse to accept our right to exist as free and equal people. They demand that we become their servants, or they will try to destroy us completely. President Andrew Clark, humanity's elected leader, made the decision that would change galactic history forever. From his office on New Earth, he spoke through the neural web to every human being in the galaxy. General Foster, activate the Unity Protocol immediately. Every human world, every human ship, every human citizen stands together as one people. We will not bow to alien masters, no matter how powerful they claim to be. The Unity Protocol was humanity's secret weapon, something no other species in the galaxy possessed. While alien civilizations were loose collections of member worlds that often disagreed and competed with each other, humanity functioned as a single species with shared goals and instant communication. When humanity made a decision, every human settlement could implement it simultaneously across thousands of light years. Captain Mark Taylor commanded the small fleet protecting the human embassy ship. Through his sensors, he watched as massive ethereal warships began surrounding their position, their crystal hulls glowing with deadly energy. Ambassador, they're charging their weapons systems. I think the talking is about to end. Thomas Reed knew this was his last chance to make humanity's position clear to the galaxy's most powerful rulers. He transmitted one final message that would be remembered for centuries. High Arbiter, humanity offers friendship and trade to all species willing to treat us with respect and equality. But to those who would make us slaves or destroy us for refusing to submit, we offer only defiance. You have ruled this galaxy by threatening weaker species into submission. But you have never faced a species that fights back as one mind, one heart, one unified people. The first ethereal energy beams lanced through space toward the human ships, marking the beginning of the largest war in galactic history. But Thomas's words were already racing through the neural web to every human colony, carried by quantum signals that moved faster than light itself. Dr. Nancy Lewis sat at her monitoring station on a frontier world, intercepting alien communications from across the galaxy. What she heard made her both angry and sad. Sir, we're picking up transmissions from ethereal command centers. They're calling this a minor police action to restore proper order. They still don't understand what they're really fighting. The ethereals had maintained their empire for 10,000 years by using overwhelming force to crush any species that dared to resist their rule. They would arrive with massive fleets, destroy a few cities or space stations, and the rebellious species would quickly surrender and accept client status. It had worked every single time for millennia. But the ethereals had never encountered an opponent like humanity. They had never fought a species where attacking one colony meant declaring war on every human being in the galaxy. They had never faced an enemy that could coordinate the defense of thousands of star systems as easily as defending a single planet. As the first battles of the war began, alien leaders across the galaxy were asking their military advisors the same terrifying question. What happened when an ancient empire that ruled through fear met a young species that simply refused to be afraid? The galaxy was about to find out. 6 months after the first shots were fired, Admiral Victoria Hayes stood on the bridge of humanity's most powerful warship, watching the biggest space battle in galactic history unfold around the Henderson system. What the ethereals had called a simple police action to put humans back in their place had grown into a war that involved half the galaxy and threatened to destroy the ancient order that had existed for thousands of years. Give me a status report, Victoria commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos of explosions and laser fire filling the space around them. Commander Benjamin Wright studied the tactical displays showing hundreds of ships locked in deadly combat. We're facing the combined fleets of 7 different alien civilizations. The ethereals have convinced their client species that humanity represents a threat to galactic stability and must be crushed completely. The irony was bitter. For centuries, these same alien civilizations had treated humanity as harmless servants, useful only for doing jobs nobody else wanted. Now they were so afraid of human independence that they had formed the largest military alliance in galactic history to destroy it. Through the neural web, Victoria could see the bigger picture of the war. Similar massive battles were raging across dozens of star systems as the old powers tried to break humanity's resistance through overwhelming force. But they had made a critical mistake in their understanding of how humans fought. General Christopher Moore was coordinating ground defenses on New Manchester, one of humanity's most important industrial worlds. His voice came through the quantum communication system from thousands of light-years away. "Admiral, they are specifically targeting our factories and shipyards. They understand that our manufacturing capacity is our greatest strength." But the aliens had fundamentally misunderstood how humanity's civilization worked. Unlike their own empires, which could be crippled by destroying a few key facilities, humanity's distributed network was almost impossible to eliminate. When the Zorathai destroyed the main shipyards in the Davis system, 17 other human colonies immediately began producing replacement vessels. Within days, production had not only returned to normal levels but had actually increased. Dr. Elizabeth Turner analyzed enemy communications from her position in the Strategic Intelligence Center. What she discovered gave humanity hope. "Admiral, we're intercepting increasingly desperate messages within the alien coalition. The client species are starting to question why they are fighting humanity's expansion when it doesn't threaten their core territories." This was the alien coalition's greatest weakness. The Ethereals had built their empire by forcing other species to serve them, but forced loyalty was fragile when the fighting became difficult and costly. Many of the alien species had joined the war only because they feared ethereal punishment if they refused, not because they actually wanted to fight humanity. Captain Roger Collins commanded a squadron of fast attack ships that had just destroyed 3 alien cruisers. "We're receiving real-time battle information from every human ship in this entire sector. The aliens are still using old-fashioned command structures where orders have to travel up and down a chain of command. By the time their fleet commanders decide on a strategy, we've already adapted to counter it." The neural web gave humanity an enormous advantage in battle. Every human captain could see the fight from the perspective of hundreds of other ships simultaneously, sharing sensor data and coordinating attacks instantaneously. Admiral Victoria could monitor the entire battle as if she had eyes everywhere, while her alien opponents struggled with communication delays and conflicting orders from their various governments. Major Helen Roberts led Marine forces that had successfully captured several alien vessels. The prisoners she interrogated all asked the same confused questions. "Admiral, they keep asking why we won't negotiate surrender terms. They can't understand why a species would fight to the death rather than accepting defeat and becoming clients of a stronger power." This cultural difference was becoming the most important factor in the war. Throughout galactic history, conflicts had followed predictable patterns. 2 powers would fight until one side was clearly losing, then the weaker side would surrender and accept client status under the winner. It was civilized, organized, and limited the destruction that war could cause. Humanity fought differently. They treated every attack on human territory as an assault on their entire species. Human colonies that were completely surrounded and facing certain destruction would fight until the last person rather than surrender. This shocked and horrified the alien powers, who had never encountered such fierce resistance. President Susan Clark addressed all of humanity from the secure command bunkers beneath New Earth. Her words were transmitted instantly to every human settlement across the galaxy. "Fellow humans, we fight not to conquer others, but to remain free ourselves. We will not be anyone's servants. We will not bow to alien masters. We are a free people, and we will die free rather than live as slaves." As the battle in the Henderson system reached its peak, Victoria watched the alien coalition begin to fall apart. The Ethereal's client species, faced with humanity's determined resistance and their own mounting casualties, started withdrawing their fleets without permission. The ancient Dominion had maintained power for millennia through the threat of unstoppable force, but that threat only worked against species willing to eventually give up. Commander Timothy Brown monitored deep space communications from his station. Suddenly, his face lit up with excitement. "Admiral, we're intercepting official transmissions from the Zephyrian Confederation. They're requesting independent peace negotiations with humanity. They want out of this war." The coalition was cracking. Other alien species were beginning to realize that this war was really about whether the Ethereals would continue to dominate the galaxy, not about any real threat from humanity. Many of them had no desire to sacrifice their own people to maintain ethereal supremacy. Victoria knew the war would continue for months more, but the outcome was becoming clear. Humanity had proven something that the galaxy had thought impossible. the ancient balance of power could be challenged. Recognition could be won through unity and determination rather than submission. As more alien fleets began retreating from human space, Victoria realized they had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had forced the entire galaxy to acknowledge humanity as equals through the simple refusal to accept anything less.